Can I come that side? Huh? Good day, everybody. I hope you can hear me. Please just click like, I don't know, a heart or something, just to show that you can hear me. Let me see some hearts. I hope I'm
loud and clear, loud and clear, loud and clear.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I have a load shedding. So what happened is I had to improvise, to just find other means and ways that I can still be, be running the event for today. But I'll try to send for co-hosting so that maybe so that if we get cut. But yeah, welcome to tonight's talk and tonight's space, where we're gonna talk money, saving and investing. We just had to categorize it clearly to say there's a saving and there's investing, so that everybody can understand. And we're going to talk about the compound interest and all that. And we have bankers in our midst who are going to help us in that regard. Yeah, but I am looking forward to the great engagement, and I'm looking forward to a great day altogether. And yeah, and on my side, I think I had a great day. I had a lot of things that were happening. I had a board, the AGM, which went well, and yeah, and these are the things that you learn as you go in business, but also you learn as you go, because you have to report, you have to work with other people, you have to have a team. So yeah, that's part of entrepreneurship. But I've learned also that if you run your own business, you need to be prepared to help others run their businesses too. But also you need to be prepared to report to others in order for you to grow, but in order for you to understand the business world. Because alone, you may think you're doing things right, but until you report to somebody or until you account to somebody, then you get to realize that actually what I thought I'm doing better, I can do it better actually if I work with other people or work in another environment. So yeah, having said that, I would like to kickstart with our speakers just to have opening remarks. Tsigazi, welcome. Mr. K, welcome. Mayor Abutari, welcome. I'm not going to welcome our speakers. Tulo, welcome. I think Tulo has left already. Yeah, and I'm not going to welcome our speakers because I think when I give you the time to speak, you'll be able to introduce yourself. Let's try BK. BK, let's try ladies first today. Let me start with Ramsey. I know that we have a culture of introducing ladies before they speak. But yeah, let's start with that today and say ladies first. And Ramsey, over to you.
Mr. Derek, I must say I wasn't ready. Mr. BK has spoiled us. I don't know. I really do not know on how to go about this. But good evening,
BK.
evening,
Okay,
everybody.
okay.
I don't
BK,
know.
over to you. BK, over to you.
Thank
You
you.
spoil them. BK, you spoil them. Over to you, sir. BK? Okay, BK maybe is not able to hear us. I see Mr. Bowie. Mr. Bowie, over to you. Let me hand over to you.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Introducing the famous, tactical, the one who's able to pick up the details where you just see numbers. She's not only an entrepreneur, but she is able to help you with your business. So whenever you need anything relating to forensics, you want to track numbers, you want to know where the money is coming from, this is the sharp and ready, the risk analyzer, Ramsey.
Wow. Thank you so much, Mr. Owi. Thank you. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Mr. Derek, stop laughing.
No, I'm not laughing. I'm just laughing at the culture that BK has introduced here. And now, yeah.
And Wobi is doing such a great job. I love it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Over to you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ramatimela Mphahlele. I go by the name of Ramsey, mostly known as being the Oath Keeper, because I guess I am the forensic analyst. Lovely topic for today. Thank you so much, Mr. Nzavi. I am such a big champion for personal finance. And on today's topic, I would really love to highlight to everyone that you can never be a big or a good person that saves or invests if it does not start with you. So I would basically highlight and just add that master personal finance before anything else. Master personal finance, and the rest shall follow, and it will definitely come easy to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ramsey. Thank you, Ramsey. Thanks very much. Okay, am I audible?
Crystal clear.
Thank you very much. I'm trying to balance the two connections here so that I don't lose network and I don't lose any connection, because I've not yet connected with my co-host, and I'm trying to connect with my co-host. And yeah, and Voe, now that you've done the introduction, can you also take it over, my brother, and lay the foundation?
Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are listening to this recording. This is the voice of Bobby, the space genie. What do I mean? I make valuable spaces. The trade is interior design, but the art is telling stories through interior design. Whether you have a train, Whether you have a house, an office, or any space that needs to speak your unique story, you've worked so hard to get to where you are, and your space needs to represent that. That's where I come in. I connect your story and able to broadcast it to the world through interiors. On the other side, I am the producer of this space, Biz Frank Talk, where we're coming together and having unscripted conversation about business. Tonight, we're getting into saving and investing. And I just want to take it a little bit on the left and start not with money per se, but there's an other element of saving and investing that we need to do before we start with money. I'll get into it a little bit later. Feel free to ask questions. We're here to learn, share, and grow. Don't leave this space tonight without asking something, without learning something, without contributing. How you can do it? Request the mic. Feel free. We won't know who you are if we cannot hear your voice. We won't know your story if we can't hear your voice. If you're unable to, there's the chat bot right there on your bottom right. Type in that, and please always use Biz Frank Talk as the hashtag. Please do enjoy. Tonight you're going to be transformed. A lot is going to change, but nothing ever changes if you don't put action behind it. So tomorrow, even if you do 1% a little bit differently, then you would have made a huge change. And lastly, an apology to the people who've been waiting for the newsletter. I got communication from some of the panelists that they didn't receive it. So I'm working on a new system to make it more smoother, but I'm realizing there are a few glitches. So what I'll do is package both last week's episode and this episode in the next email. So that'll be a treat for you. Get the newsletter, which comes out after every space. You just have to DM me, and it's a limited number that I take for the newsletter. So enjoy yourself. I hope your pens are ready. I hope you are ready to ask questions, and I hope you're ready to contribute. It's going to be a beautiful evening, and we're hoping that tomorrow we're going to start the change. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bowie. And yeah, what a great introduction and also a great opening. I think Ramsey was correct to say, no, you do it very well. But I think you and Ramsey, then you will introduce each other. But I'll allow BK to continue with Kamaduma. So yeah. But before I go to BK, I see Brother Eri. The reason why I want to give Brother Eri is because his network is not consistent. Sometimes it can go off and on. So let me allow him to have his opening remarks, and then I'll come to the other speakers who joined earlier. The culture is that if you joined earlier, you're the first one. Mr. Tsukhang, I see you there. And please, guys, show me some love to show that you approve the step I'm taking so that I can allow Brother Eri, because they just coming in off. Yeah, thank you very much. Brother Eri, take it over, my brother. Brother Eri. Okay, I think he's still battling. Also. Mr. Tsukhang, I know. I'll just leave the two, the two, to do their magic at the end. Over to you, Mr. Tsukhang.
Mr. Nzavi, greetings and greetings to everyone. Yeah, guys, you know what? Today I'm going to be a listener on this topic because I know zero about it. So I just basically came up to tell my fellow panelists that, guys, it's a great topic. I'm looking forward to learn, but don't expect any contribution from me. I'll just be a listener with a speaker. And otherwise, business is business. It's been a great week. I've learned a lot. I'm just coming out of a meeting at the Monikwa Platinum Mine right now. they decided to give us lessons on quality assurance. Okay, I'm getting feedback. I think there's a mic that's unmuted. Okay, yeah. So we learn every day. Today I just learned that I wasn't doing my quality assurance proper. So I had to sit down for about 3 hours and listen to a presentation on that. And you know, whenever you sit in those presentations, you come out talking a little bit less when you meet other people because you realize that there's so much that you don't know. You even wonder what exactly are you talking about when you talk to people because there's so much that you don't know. So today is going to be one of those days because I always say that I talk about things that I do. I don't know how to save and I don't know how to invest as an entrepreneur. Usually when money comes, I just I kick it. I finish it basically. And, if I'm saying that I'm investing, it will be because there's something that I know I need in my business, and as soon as the money comes in, it goes directly there. Like right now, I know that we're supposed to build a fish pond because we're starting tilapia farming. So when money comes in, it all goes there. And if there's any money that has no use comes here, we sort it out, you know. Yeah, so I won't be of any good advice with regards to the topic. Don't be surprised when I'm too quiet, fellow panelists. Thank you. I guess it's hello and hi, and that's that. Thank you.
Yeah, I think the panelists are ready today, and you know what I like about Mr. Sohang. He will say no, he won't be, but I don't know this gentleman whether he's doing a background research at the background while others are talking, and he will come with a bomb. Just watch the space. So yeah, and then thank you very much, Mr. Sohang, for introduction. Also, let me just acknowledge those who have joined us: Ben Aluta, El Patron, Regular, Stelo, Lazoila, Nsikazi, Just Vibes, Muzi, Pilani, Austin, Vuyani, Ethan, Kosnati, Tatenda. Welcome. And then Saki, Mr. Saki, I think I had a privilege today to join his space. He's got a spaces that is running every Thursday during the day, and he invited me to say, please come through. And yeah, we had a lot of glitches on that space, and yeah, but fortunately enough, I think it went through very nicely. And what I liked about it, I think we had Coach that was running it. And trust you me, I learned a lot. It's quite interesting when you have to join the space and then you are now listening and you are learning. And for me, it was a learning moment. And I must say that I learned a lot in that space. And yeah, I came out empowered myself. And I think I had to rush out. I think we finished at 2. And also I kind of learned a lot of dynamics in terms of how, because we're talking about the vision and the mission, and she was addressing that. And trust you me, it was worth attending. And thank you very much for invitation, my brother. And hoping that in future we'll still collaborate and see if we can even have other from the panelists. I mean, we have a great wealth of panelists here that we are having every Thursday, and I believe that your space could be empowered also to have them on board. Yeah, without wasting more time, let me allow BK to do the introduction. Then BK, after the introduction, and after the introduction, you will hand over to the one you'll be introducing. After that, then we'll move forward then to you, sir. So, BK, over to you.
Why are you laughing before I even start?
No, I'm laughing because I can imagine what's coming through. So
I get now that you brought us here. Actually, just as you you were calling my name earlier. I got a phone call. So obviously, when the phone comes in, it takes precedent, it takes priority over everything else. So it cuts everything else out. So apologies for that. But I'm here, and I'm glad to be here. I have to say, this space is one of a few gems that I think the smart ones and the discerning will really, really get incredible nuggets and go and do something with it that otherwise would have cost them a fortune to get. I'll leave it at that. But having said that, let me take the opportunity again this week to introduce the one and only Kamaduma. Yenage, she is the one who supervises the fashion police. They all report to her. She knows what goes together and what doesn't belong. She also knows how to pick out things that flow, things that work. She has this uncanny way of making things aesthetically pleasing. She also is a savvy business person. She has a particular attention to detail that will be annoying for a lot of people, but for the wise, they would welcome that kind of quality. So let me say, Gamaduma, Tatewet, it's good to be here. You know, I should talk to your parents and adopt you as my little sister, because I could do with one more sister. I have lots of sisters, but I think they'll be very happy to have you around as one of the big sisters. How is the dog? Welcome to the space.
BK, you crashed the internet because I see now she's trying to connect after that introduction. So,
After all
so
that, I hope
we'll
she's
wait for
okay.
yeah, we'll wait for her. We'll wait for her. But you
Give
know
her
what I
time.
like about
She'll be
the
fine.
yeah, no.
Yes.
No,
Go ahead,
anytime
my brother.
as soon as she's connected, then she will take over. But yeah, what I like about the environment now, it's like I think you guys you can pick up that I'm improving in terms of presenting, but also in terms of engaging, because I think when we started, we had a lot of here and there and connecting, but now I'm happy that we are kind of connecting and gelling. Oracle, welcome. Jakababa, welcome. Pete, welcome. Yeah, I think I'm trying to check who have joined us. Uju, welcome. And yeah, and those will be coming through, and we'll keep on Dianza. Ditlonza today, Baba. Ditlonza. We're going to talk about how to save and invest as an entrepreneur. Um, I know, when we started, I'll tell you, we have meetings with Bowie, and Bowie would say, my leader, what is the topic for this week? And I say, hey, Bowie, I think I've got a topic, and I'll send him the topics. And suddenly I'll send him a change topic, Elelwan, welcome. I received the heart. Oracle, welcome. Says Pro, welcome. Yeah, so the when we plan these talks, we have topics for the whole year. But now with Bowie, how it's been, it's that I'm frustrating him because he will design the pamphlets and everything. Then I'll say, Bowie, please, can you change? The topic has changed. But what I've picked up is that the topics change based on the conversation of the previous week, so that we allow the flow, so that we say, how do we measure and how do we look at the flow? How do we take to the next level? So, and Bowie, some of these topics, they are very crazy topics, but yeah, we allow the flow. But also, let me say that for all the listeners, if you are here today and you've got a topic that you feel you want to be addressed, you are more than welcome to inform us, and then we will accommodate it. This is a biz frank talk, meaning that we are not structured. We are just talking business. So if you have a topic that you feel, you know what, I think this topic can do better, send us a suggestion. We'll do that. But also remember, we have one free business advisory for one listener or two or three every week that we arrange to meet with for free, and then you're free. But also remember to advertise your business on there I think we call it differently, but I'm just calling it on the timeline. So yeah, please advertise, throw your adverts, and then yeah, we'll take it from there. Without wasting time, I know Tsohang said he wants to learn today, right? But I just want us to look at what would be the difference. I think this one I'll leave it to BK to say. How do we differentiate between saving and investing, especially in a business context, but also in life in general? Not necessarily to be focused on the business, but to say, how do we differentiate the two, investing and saving, when it comes to business and when it comes to personal savings? BK.
My brother, thank you. And I literally smiled when I saw the topic, when I got the brief earlier, and I looked at it and I said, I hope I don't lose people on this one, because I know what everyone else is likely going to be thinking, because it's very hard to detach from the traditional way of understanding what savings and investing is. And based on that, I'm not going to take away that traditional understanding and view. It's not wrong as such, but I just want to acknowledge it for what it is, and then add a couple of layers above it that tend to be the difference in a lot of people quicker than most. Obviously, before I say this, let me say to those who are here for the first time, this is a space where we share knowledge and information. A lot of it is a nice balance between our own experiences and also information from somewhere else, from books, from schools, and all these other avenues. So you're going to get a blend of information. However, your task is to interrogate the information, then apply it. Otherwise, we're just wasting time here. So I'd leave it at that. So let me say this. Savings, first and foremost, it's in the name. Setting something aside for future use or a rainy day, if it's a personal situation. A lot of people will understand it. Saving something for a rainy day when it comes to money or even grain. Say save seeds and put it away to save us in the future. But I want to add a caveat to saving. Saving sometimes could be also simply maximizing on waste. Did you see what I just did there? Maximizing on waste. Early in my career, one of the things I had to do was work with businesses when I was working with one of the global brands. And one of the ways I was tasked at doing was develop the business, or develop the customer end of the business, so that they can come up with new money, so to speak, so they can then spend that money with us. So they appreciated the angles that we brought to the table, and this is where I really sharpened this part. And I'm super grateful for that window of time. This is where I learned this. Believe it or not, the amount of businesses that go out of business because of waste is shocking. I could tell you, if you want to prove what I'm saying, I need you to do something in the next 3, 4, 5 days. Walk into the mall, go and see any place that serves food, a cafe or anything like that. Just have a look at what they are offering, the quality of food, all of those good things. But if you pay attention to how they handle the offcuts, how they handle the food that is left over, how they handle all that stuff, try and see if you can access where their rubbish goes at the back. You will be shocked at how much stuff gets thrown away. But remember, they paid for that stuff. And either they didn't sell it, or they prepared it too early and it's no longer suitable to serve the customer. Now it has to be thrown out. That waste it's going to hit the pocket at some point. That's just observable stuff you can see with your own eyes. Let me go another level. Waste in terms of, okay, you've started your business, you have a really brilliant idea, it's shaking up and you're making good sales. Oh my goodness, you're gonna blow it. Yeah. But guess what? The moment the profits start rolling in, a certain mind that is not awake to this part will begin to waste inadvertently what is coming in. What is waste? Because now I have a $100,000 business, I suppose I can now start buying that Range Rover. That's waste. Oh, okay, maybe now I can hire a secretary and pay them double the market rates for being my secretary because we make a lot of money here. That's waste. Or now we can move our offices to the fancier side of town and pay 3 times the rates. That's waste. I could go on and on and on and on. Waste will eventually catch up and suck the life out of the business. I've seen it. It happens almost all the time. So if you're an entrepreneur and you're thinking of, or even thinking of setting up your own business, I need you to pay attention to waste. You can make incredible savings by managing waste. Do you see what I just did there? Let me show you investing. You can actually save on the waste by taking your profits and plan what happens to the profits before you even start your business. In other words, you don't even know how much you are going to make to the penny. But if you set up a system and parameters in your system, in your business, to say, for example, okay, our business runs on 40% of all our profits. When I'm saying run on, I'm talking about all your expenses for the business, your wages, the rates, water bills, whatever your business requires to be paid for in order to exist, 40% of that. So what happens to the other 60%? That's net profit. I'm just using rough estimations here, right? Okay, that 60%, what happens to it? Is that the money now you take and put in your own bank account? What? Big mistake. A smart entrepreneur will take that 60% and have it spoken for ahead of time. In other words, we will take 50% of that profit, put it aside, and set it into a fund for our research and development. Because remember, once you start the business, the next 10 years, you need to start planning for that, to imagine what your business is going to look like in 10 years. This is how you can best defend your business from competition, for those that know. 50% of that goes to that. What about the other 50%? Okay, we're going to take 10% and put it towards investing into other cash flow subsidiaries or value chains that will attach and enhance our business. What about the rest? Okay, how can we improve our marketing? Who else can we bring in? What else can we do to improve our business? Invest the profits so that not only are you now relying on your business for income and cash flow and profits, but now you are creating other streams of income as you build and grow the existing business. This is how most wealthy people and most successful organizations do it. There is not one single wealthy person on earth who is relying on one stream of income. None. I don't know them. If they are, I'm yet to know about it. The rest of them, they all have carefully curated and selected streams of income that feed them. Ideally, that are not even connected per se to this one thing, because in case something happens, they are not scrambling around because the corner shop is closed. If you had a coffee shop and that was your only business, one wrong move or one change of legislation by the government or one event takes you out of business, and suddenly you now have to go on social welfare for benefits and scrounge around to try and redo what you've already done. But a smart person will say, okay, I now have a coffee shop. What else can I do? This is where you take your profits and invest into the next stream of income. Ideally, that is not dependent on the coffee shop to thrive and succeed. Am I making sense? I hope so. This, for some of you, is basic knowledge, but I can tell you there is somebody who's hearing this for the first time today, and they are thinking, why did it take me this long to learn this? When I first heard it, I was shaking all the way home because I said to myself, why did I pay all that school fees and I never learned any of this in school? But I'll tell you now, most wealthy people, this is exactly how they do it. Invest wisely and carefully. Save, absolutely save. Do not waste. Saving, in a nutshell, is the opposite of waste in business, especially. Do not waste your resources. Don't waste money. I'm not saying don't have fun. I'm not saying don't enjoy the fruits of your labor. I'm not saying live, substandardly. No, I'm just saying you can pick whatever lifestyle you want, but make sure then that you develop enough muscle or capacity financially to sustain it, not by saying, I can't afford that, but by saying, how can I afford that? And start a path of finding out how you can fund this, how you can improve your cash flow. Those two words, cash flow, I'm telling you, they are the magic words. They are exactly what your blood is to your body. If I remove every drop of your blood in your body right now, can you imagine what will happen? Every business that doesn't have cash flow, even a family home, if the cash flow gets interrupted, pain all the way begins immediately. And a lot of businesses, they suffer because of this. And you can avoid all that pain by being savvy and smart, a healthy balance of saving and investing intelligently. You can do that by bringing in people that are really smart around this and they do this for a living if you don't know this already. And even if you do, it won't hurt you to have a second or third opinion. Let me park it there for now so that I don't take over the space. But I hope I said something there now that stimulates thoughts and stimulates more questions. Let's get at it and let's get this done. I appreciate you.
BK. Wow. BK, I don't know. That was another level of thinking. That is an intelligence kind of thinking, in the sense that you were able to take us. I don't know. You twisted my mind actually, because when you look at the words save and invest, one would expect you to say, no, you must save, your salary for 6 months or whatever you make for 6 months to make sure that you are sustainable and all that. But the angle that you have taken today, I think it's something that everybody can go, wow, in terms of understanding that. And it's something that I believe that from the banking perspective, Ramsey would have something to say. But before I go to Ramsey, Kamatuma, after a very powerful introduction, I know that the network has let you down.
This is why they pay me the big bucks, Nzavi.
No, now I see. So, and actually, I think I need to pay to sit down with you also. So, yeah, Kamatum, over to you. You were introduced already. I see you here, and I am aware that your network might cut, but let me hand over to you before I give it to Ramsey.
Thank you, Derek, and good evening to you and everybody on the space. Yeah, my network is really digging. We've been load shedded like 2 hours, about an hour ago. So yeah, it's having a life of its own, but hopefully it's going to hold for now. So yeah, let me just say, I'm not going to take any more time. Just let me just say hello to everybody, and I acknowledge everyone that's on the space tonight. It's always a pleasure to be here with you guys on Thursdays, on these Bees Frank talks. Yeah, talking about saving and investing, I have a lot to learn on this one. But let me ask BK this question. What do you do then if you don't have anything left to save? I mean, I think for asking this question also, I'm kind of representing quite a lot of people who might not perhaps have the courage to actually ask, but I am asking this question. What do you do then if you don't have anything left to save? After you've gotten what you've gotten, and if you're lucky, you've paid all your business expenses, or fulfilled, the obligations, but there's nothing left to save. Then what? What direction does one take? What would you advise to, be the options to look into, to perhaps find some sort of correction to that type of a problem, if I should say?
That's actually a very common thing, and I'm actually surprised you had the courage to ask that question. A lot of people don't ask this. Do you know what they do instead? They pretend they know, and they pretend they have it figured out. They never ask this, and then go away and struggle until they shut down. I have an answer for you.
And BK.
Yeah, go
Hi,
ahead.
BK. No, I just wanted to say to add on that, when you deal with Z, you must expect a question at any time. So that's one thing I like about it. Anytime, and she can put you on the spot. So, but I like that the team comes prepared. So yeah, you can respond, my brother.
Absolutely. Thank you, Derek. Yeah, and this is one of the things I appreciate about Ramaduma, because she's a straight shooter, and she has the courage to ask questions. Intelligent people ask questions usually. So let me show you something. Two things. There's a lot I could say, but I don't want to take over the space. Two things especially. Number one, as a family and as a business, the ideal situation is to prioritize this saving/investment piece. In other words, pay yourself first and then everything else after that. I'm telling you, when you do this, the second thing happens. It forces you to find ways to ensure that your business produces enough for everything else that remains. When I say pay yourself first, it's incredibly difficult. It's incredibly difficult. But it's something you can learn, and once you master it, is the one thing that will set you apart from successful business and successful family economics than all the others who struggle. Trust me, I've faced this. This is how I know it. And even with all the knowledge I have, from time to time, I find myself in this situation where I'm like, oh, this wasn't supposed to happen. What do I do now? I need to adjust. That night, the pain of not having it is going to force me to think a new thought, a new way, a new dimension of what did I miss? How can I go about this? What do I need to switch? What do I need to change? Because if you are not willing to do this, you are not going to succeed, whether in life or in business, especially in business. When you are setting up your business for the first time, make sure investments and savings, in other words, paying yourself first, is the priority. Why are you going into business otherwise? Why are you going to suffer and go through all this otherwise? You want the business to produce enough so that you can not just live on, but thrive. And the only way you can do that is to prioritize how you manage your profits. Unless you are talking about a situation where your business is not even making any money at all, then it points to this other piece, which I would call 2.1, which is maybe the business structure and setup needs to be reviewed and set up correctly. Here we're talking about somebody who has put the business plan together. When I say business plan, I'm not talking about the documents that people fill in. I'm talking about somebody who took the time to find the customer first before starting the business, and then set up the business to an already existing market, people waiting to pay you for what you bring. If you do it like that, you can't help but be profitable. But I understand that not everyone starts like that. People start with, I have a passion for fashion, so I'm just gonna create anything, and then I'll go to the mall and see who buys. Yeah, you could do that. If you are lucky, that for me is as good as trying to find a needle in a haystack. But if you went to the mall and saw what is really trending and did some little bit of research, even locally, and then went home and said, you know what, I noticed everyone is crazy about this. If I twist it a little bit and create a slightly different dimension of this, suddenly you have a business that has customers waiting. Suddenly you are forcing people to think deeper, but you are ensuring your own cash flow. Prioritize saving and investing. Pay yourself first. If you are not in business and you are in a job and you are working, it's tough to have enough money from first day of the month to the end of the month. The only way you can do that is really be deliberate and really force yourself to say, okay, from my wages, I am going to put aside X amount and then deal with everything else with what's left. If you do that, it may be painful for a while, but I guarantee you, in time, depending on what you do with what you put aside, you will find yourself changing that pain into purpose, into glory, and it's serving you. What we did with my wife, we all were employed at some stage, and we still do different projects from time to time. But what we do is we take our money and we say, okay, what else can we do that is going to save us or serve us without us showing up in person? In other words, have our money work more than we do, so that should we decide to not get up tomorrow morning and just stay in bed and relax, we will still get the money. Can you do that? If you don't show up for work, will you get paid? If you don't show up to your business, will there be money that day? If the answer is no, you really need to think about this. You really need to think of, what else can I do? Because you cannot afford to be in a situation where you can't even be unwell. I see people show up to work, not feeling well, but they can't afford not to come to work. They end up compromising their own health. What you asked, my sister, speaks to that. If it's not solved, it will lead to that. And if it's a business, it will lead to a shutdown. And a shutdown will lead to a lot of other painful things. And it will probably be too much for some people to even come back and try again. It can be avoided. All of this can be avoided by simply prioritizing yourself, your savings, your investing, but understanding how to do this correctly by first understanding how to set up yourself correctly in the first place. I hope I said something that helps.
Thank you very much, BK. Thank you very much.
Tell me where to send the invoice.
No. You see, you know what, BK? The people that you praise here, send them the invoices, please. No, BK, we'll talk about the invoice and you'll send it to me. We'll talk about that. But I know that Z will have to pay for that, because also she's the one who's asking these difficult questions. But yeah, thank you very much, Z, for that question. And thank you, BK, for answering that question. I see a request for Mike, but please, we are just first laying foundation on the topic, and then we'll open for questions once our speakers have settled, once our panelists have settled. and then we'll open for question. I see you, Think Tank, with you raised your hand. Brass 2, I see you there, and Doreen, I see you there. I see you, N.A., I see you, Nama, I see you, Vuyani, Makwela, I see you, Miss Agriculture, I see you, or Otto, I see you, Austin, I think I noticed you, and also Touch Family, I see you. I just want to say something about Touch Family and Makwela. Most of the time they engage on the tweets that I would post or I would do. And I like how the angle that they take when they kind of want to engage it and also want to kind of communicate. I know, gentlemen, I may not be able to respond or to retweet most of them, but yeah, I see that. TSP, Willie, Shani, welcome. And also Sheriff, I do notice your comment always, and I do appreciate that. And welcome. Yeah. BK, you touched something very, very important and very informative at the same time. I don't know if you are thinking of writing a book, but maybe from this, but I know you're going to write us a nice article, and I do appreciate that, because after every space you do write a beautiful article. And I think the last one that you did share, you would have noticed that it got a lot of mileage in terms of a lot of people engaging it. But I'm going to Ramsey now. I see she has raised her hand, she's itching, but I just want to say this also, that today we had a session with the Deputy Minister, David Masondo. There is something he said in that session at Gibbs that, look, the government is owing 5 trillion. And in terms of our collection, our revenue, we don't even collect 3 trillion. Now, as a government, we can't talk about saving, we can't talk about surplus or anything until we clear, because only to service the debt that South Africa is sitting with, it costs 300 billion to service the debt per annum. Now, this came down to say, as an entrepreneur, it will not be possible for you to want to save when you know you still owe other people, when you know that you still have that huge debt that's sitting there. If you save, actually, you are not saving, because should you be liquidated, whatever you have saved will go towards paying whoever you owe before you can walk away with a cent. So I don't know if that will make sense, but Ramsey, over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Derek. Just like you have already highlighted, Mr. BK, I would actually think he's a professor of some sorts because of the high level of information that he actually shares. Thank you for that, sir. But then, Mr. Derek, I'm one to really, when we're going through these spaces, to go into most people's profiles as they have joined the space, just to get to know as to what kind of audience that we have here. And I would like to believe we do not only have entrepreneurs that would really need a high level of explanation when it comes to saving and investing, just as how Mr. BK has actually laid the floor. Because I'm looking at people such as Mr. K. His profile says he has just completed his BCom law degree and ready to join the labor force. So now when we're talking entrepreneur and looking at saving and investing on that high level, it can really be quite a lot of French to him. So I'd like to start by just giving a simple explanation when it comes to what is saving and what is investing. And I would like, if I may, Mr. Derek, with your guidance as well, I would like to recommend 2 books just at the end of this space that could actually help anyone that's really starting out when it comes to investing and also saving. It speaks simple English. It relates mostly also to South Africans because they do not speak in dollars, but they speak in rands. It makes it easy to understand money that way. So just like Mr. BK has already highlighted, saving is basically just setting aside a portion of your income when you know that there's something that you need to buy or there's something that you need to take off. It can be take care of. It can be your children's school fees. But remember, when you're saving now, you need to ask the question why. Because if you do not know why you are saving, you will see no use in saving. So you need to set a goal and say, why am I saving? For how long do I want to save in order for me to achieve what I really want to achieve? Okay. And then when it comes to investing, you need to understand that this is long term. You are not going to invest for 1 year. You are not going to invest for 2 years. Remember now, we're trying to get all the money that you've put in your savings to grow. Okay. In basic English, investing is basically making your money work for you. So there's a book, like I said, that I would also recommend. It talks about saving, saying, let's say now I have a capital of 10,000 Rand. I would like to invest this money. I know I will not need this money. I'm putting it away, let's say, for 15 years or 20 years. When you have put in that money for that long, on a monthly basis or on an annual basis, it actually gets interest. And I like this term when we rename these interests to calling them babies. So this 10,000 Rand on a monthly basis or on a yearly basis, it makes babies, which are interest. Now you need to put those babies into good use. So those babies need to make more babies, and those other babies also need to make more babies. So that's you investing. It's more like passive income. That's what they mean when they say passive income. That's money working for you. But also then you can always reallocate those investments or those babies to actually, just like Mr. Tsohang said, that when he makes certain income or when he gets certain projects, he just knows he needs to invest in a specific mission or specific seeds that he needs to farm. Then you can make those babies work for you by buying big purchases for you in the future. When you have already outlined to say, you know what, in the next 2 years, I want to purchase a house. Now you do your research. This house is going to cost me 1 million. What other investment portfolios are there? There's quite a lot. You're looking at your shares, property. There's quite a lot of things that you can actually invest in that can make babies for you. And those babies will also make babies, and babies will also make babies. So that's how I simply explain investment and saving. So Z asked the question as well. What if I have no money left to invest or to save? There is no such a thing, Mrs. Z, honestly. Remember, you will take your income, whatever income, let's say it's a fixed income, you're getting paid that 17,000 Rand or 15,000 Rand. Now you set the rules. How much percentage of my income do I really want to save or invest? Let's say you say, typically in finance world, they will just say you can start with 10%. 10% of 17,000 Rand is only just 1,700 Rand. You put that away. Because what I'll tell you, my sister, if you will want to spend all your money to pay this, to buy this, and you tell yourself that with whatever money I'm left, that's when I'm going to save. The little that's left, that's what I'm going to be left with and save. You are cheating yourself, because idling money is busy money. If you do not tell your money what to do, it will tell you what to do. I hope I made the explanation quite clear on investing and saving. Thank you.
Vogi, I don't know if you catch that. If you don't tell your money what to do, it will tell you what to do. You know, what I like about this is the balancing between the two, where BK took it to the higher level, speaking to that segment of the market, and now Ramsey took it to the lower level, speaking to those who say, I'm starting up and I'm at the entry point. How do I move forward? How do I invest forward? Now, the question that I just want to open it to all the panelists is to, the question would be, how possible, especially for business person, would it be advisable to work out your cost and your savings and your investment from your price that you give to one item or your services? If you say, for example, I charge probably 2,000 per hour to meet my clients, how feasible would it be to divide that 2,000, employ it into different categories where it would include your investment, your savings, also your salary from that 2,000, which also could give you that kind of an edge to say, if really I want to achieve maybe a salary of probably 30,000 or 40,000 that I need to pay myself, then it would mean that for me to achieve that, this is how many hours I need per month, but also for me to save from this and to save 10%, as Ramsey has indicated. It would mean that for me to save 2,200 from this 2,000, and for me to be able to save 2,000 in a week or in a month, it means that I must generate 20,000 from this so that I can be able to save this money. So what would be the best option? Would it be to work around per hour and say, or maybe per product? Because in any case in business, you need to look at your product and say, from this single pin that I'm selling for 2 rand, how much goes to my salary? How much goes to my labor? How much goes to my investment? And how much goes to this? And Ramsey said something also very powerful, which is to say, yes, you can save. You can say, no, you know what? I will, from what has remained, then I will see how to save. But what I've seen also is that there's a level of discipline once you get used to it, because everything you get used to it. Firstly, it might be painful. Firstly, you would want to tap into the money. Firstly, you would want to borrow from your own money. But if you are disciplined enough, you can get used to it to know that, you know what, from everything I earn, there is money that goes towards that. And the other way that maybe, I don't know, I might be wrong, but what I observe is that you would find that you can still have even the stop orders or debit orders towards making sure that there is money that goes there. From every money that you get immediately, you are able to channel it straight to this one goes to the debit and this one goes to this. But also, the other thing that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm taking Zuhang's time because today he said he's taking a break. So let me take his time. The other thing that I looked at is that sometimes we should be careful to think that you are saving because you have a Capitec account, and Capitec says from every money that you spend, we round up your cents and put them into savings. And then you see the 200 rand there sitting there on your Capitec account, written savings, and you'd think, oh yeah, no, it means that I'm saving money. Saving is a decision that you make. It's a conscious decision that you tell yourself that, you know what, this is what I want to save, and this is how much I want to save. But like I think BK did mention this, that it's not about punishing yourself that you can't pay yourself salary because you're saving. There is a gentleman that I think he had over, I don't know how much he had in his account because he was working. He saved his salary because he was staying in a hostel. When he retired or when he left, he had a lot of money in the bank that he had to go home. But when he got home, he took all the money to the house. And guess what happened? His children stole the money. So sometimes now it would be a question of, to beg to you, my panelists, what vehicles can we identify that would be best to save the money in a way that there will be no risk involved? Risk in the sense that you know that when I save in this platform or when I save in this vehicle or with these institutions or with that institution, there is that sense of security. The risk is less, be it that you want to buy shares, be it that you want to invest. Like Ramsey said, that you can invest, you can look at other options. But in looking for those options where you will want to have those babies that would come, Which one? I mean, we had a case of Old Mutual. I think Old Mutual, where it's now in the news and all that, about people saying, "No, I've put 3 million, and now I was promised this and all that." So maybe let's look at those risks and all that. Ramsey, I see your hand. Over to you. And please, those who have questions, please feel free now to ask your questions, and we will give you opportunity to ask your questions. The floor is yours. Ask any question, and then our panelists will engage so that we can assist you. Ramsey, over to you.
Just a quick one. I've had my mistakes in saving and investing. Guys, I can tell you this, and I'm sure most of you also do this and feel it. When investing with a bank where you also hold the same check account or your savings account, will play with your head. I am not trying to discourage you from banking or investing with the same bank you're investing in, but as soon as you are able to have access in transferring funds from one account to another account, doing inter-account transfers from your banking app, you will be very much tempted to actually withdraw money. And trust me, it is very nice to see your bank balance being all big and growing. It tempts you to spend on it. So I would also advise on looking up other investment houses. Example, no promo. It can be your Ellen Gray. It can be BCFSA, which are into property. Then you get your monthly statements that basically tell you how much you have made this month, how your interests have grown. But there are other portfolios that banks also do hold, which are quite amazing and quite great. But just do not trick yourself into opening just a savings pocket, just like Time Bank or Capitec does, where you think you are saving, and then the next thing you know that you can always access that money in a split second through your banking app, because you will do quite a lot of inter-account transfers, and then the next thing you know you have tapped on your phone and all your money is gone. So there are other institutions that you can invest your money in. Educate yourself. Yes, there are other financial planners or financial advisors. There are certain costs into it. Just study much about it, but there are really great investment portfolios out there other than the bank that you are probably banking in, especially if you know that you're not really quite disciplined or you have not mastered the discipline. So it's all about building habits. Starts with saving, move over to investing, but it's never too late to start now to save or to invest.
Thank you very much, Ramsey. I've invited Saki. He did raise his hand. But before I give it to Saki, I saw BK's hand is up. But BK, when you finish, I will hand over to Saki. If he's got a question or a comment, you're welcome, my brother, to take over, BK. And thank you, Ramsey, for that, because in reality, it's more about to say, how do I distance myself from my savings? So in a way, keep a distance from your savings. Make sure that there is enough distance, so such that your hand can't reach, to the password to access it. So that's why some of the banks, they will penalize you if you want to withdraw quicker in terms of your 32-day or whatever. Then you get penalized for that, because they are saying, we don't expect you to put your hand now until the time that we agreed. Yeah, BK, take it over. Then we can hand over to Saki. And then, we'll just look at, I think I've got another request from T-Man so that we can allow those questions to come in and you can answer them. Thank you.
Thank you, my brother. I appreciate that. Yeah, I really wanted to come in and say a few things on this issue. I won't be long. I'll try to be as quick as I can, and then the questions can certainly come through. And Ramsey really nailed it in a very succinct way there in her answer as well. But I wanted to show you a little bit extra on top of, not to take away from what she said, but to add to it. You see, yeah, these things, they seem impossible or difficult for us because, again, if you look back far enough, you realize that we were always on the back foot on these things. We were struggling. It was difficult to buy things. Hence the mindset around money. is the way it is. But we live in a new world now where information is much more accessible and available. The one thing I wanted to emphasize for anyone in this space here today is to say, by the way, remember, don't just take our word for it. I would strongly advise you to sit down and really carefully pick your own PFA, you know, your professional financial person in your area to get all financial advice from. That way, you are covered on all angles. It's crucial to do that. If you are going to build anything that really lasts, whether it's business or personal, have somebody locally or somebody you can trust that has, you know, a qualified PFA who handles these kinds of things. The reason you want to do that is because these people see the things you might not see, and they don't have the emotional attachment to your money the way you would. The other thing I wanted to raise, I wanted to open your minds to this little thing. Let me turn off this thing. It's making noise here. Okay, thank you. Risk, big four-letter word. There's a difference between risk and risky. I don't like risky stuff, but I can handle risk. Why am I putting it like that? Because risk has levels, but risky is simply careless and uncultured without due diligence. It's really more, the outcome of failure is more expensive than the benefit if you succeeded. That's risky. For me, is understanding the risk levels and carefully select which level of risk are you most comfortable with at the level of your function. In other words, if you are running a business that turns over 100,000 a year, don't play in the $4 billion bracket of investments with high risk, because when you get hit, you get wiped out. But if you start at the right level and carefully select things that will maximize with a higher degree of return and a medium to higher risk level, to ensure that you turn that 100 grand into 200 grand, into 400 grand in a space of 3, 4, 5 years. Suddenly, 10 years later, you are now playing with the big boys, as they say in that song. It takes being careful with how you maneuver, understanding and documenting everything along the way. To pull this off, you are going to need an incredibly smart team of people. They don't have to be in your company. You don't have to employ them directly. That's why I say find your own QFA person in town. They're everywhere. Ramsey is one of them. Find such a people, let them walk you through some of the smarter ways of turning that $10 into $20, handling your profits and prioritizing certain things. Let me throw this in. Somebody else, not the same person, somebody else in that team whose job is really to ensure that you are tax compliant. Why is that important? Because when your taxes are in order, the government has very limited angles to get at your profits and get at your situation. If you don't do that, the first thing that could easily go wrong on you is the tax. And if they shut down your accounts, you have nowhere to go. You absolutely have no way out. They'll freeze everything and take over, and then you are done. So there are many, many things you can do. But I will tell you now for free, please find a QFA in your area that has incredible history and is proficient at what they do. They are specialists in this thing. They can pinpoint certain blind spots you otherwise wouldn't see, so that you can focus on bringing in the bacon. They will look after that, and you know you still have to make the final decision, but at least you are getting advice and guidance from people who are living in the market. This is there, and your success in that market is in their best interest, because now they can turn around and say, yeah, you see, my business manages a big portfolio, and then they name Ramsey. We manage Ramsey Corporation's portfolio for the last 20 years. And when you hear them say that, Ramsey is now $1 billion organization. So it's in our best interest then to ensure that we give Ramsey the smartest and the most cutting edge level of information to ensure that her profits are handled correctly. Get your mind familiar with this, and I'm telling you, you will thank me later. If you don't do this, just because you ignore it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Your business will suffer, your family will suffer, exactly because you ignored this part. Don't ignore this. Risk versus risky. When you drive your car at 180 kilometers an hour, if it gets that far, mine does, but I'm just saying, if you drive it at that level of speed, you are not Lewis Hamilton. That's not risk. That's risky. That's carelessness. That's reckless. Make sense? But driving your car, even at 20 kilometers an hour, is risk, because anyone can still hit your car. It's the level of risk. You still get out and drive, but you understand your levels and you play within your levels. Am I making sense?
Yes, BK, you are. Thank you very much, BK, and thank you very much for that insight. And today I think we are at school. It's a very serious school, and we have 2 teachers now. I think I'm identifying 2 teachers, BK and Ramsey. And you guys, you are on fire, and thank you very much. And me and Tsohang and Voe, I think we are students. And Eri, I'm trying to accept him, but unfortunately the network keeps on kicking him out. But without wasting time, let me allow Saki, and then also I'll allow Austin after Saki. And if it will be a question, my panelist, if you will be asking a question, I would love you, anyone that would be comfortable to take it, please take it on, and then so that we can allow the flow. Because I don't enjoy talking. I love it when the panelists, just create the flow so that also the audience and our listeners could just follow the conversation without me coming in, So Saki, over to you.
Thank you very much, Derek. Firstly, let me greet everyone here, my brothers and sisters. I'm happy to be amongst you. I believe that I'm amongst the great already. I've been listening to all the speakers, and I'm inspired. Thank you for putting this together, Derek. Maybe just to reflect on what BK said. He was talking to me when he said, you need to watch for the waste. And in my mind, I would have thought waste is something that you can see with your physical eye. And I'm realizing that, in fact, the office that we have now, I had prayed for it, and we got it. And now, because of COVID, we had to lose some of the staff. And most of the space and the desks there have become waste. So my brother, you've spoken to me. Tomorrow morning I want to begin to think about this and see what I can do with it. Learning from you. So Derek, I just wanted to share just a quick thought, man. I'm a big believer of working on the mindset, and I think that the discussion today does talk about the psychology and the approach of doing things. For instance, if we say we want to save or we want to invest, we need to work on our psychology first. We need to tell ourselves that we want to make the move. We believe that this is the right direction and we move in that direction. And in this respect, I've been working on some literature recently. And one of the things that excited me was the definition of a goal. You know, there is a definition of a goal that we know, all of us, that you set a goal and you want to achieve this, and that's what you want to do. But I've come across something that I believe is a very important nugget and that can add value to this discussion. That, for instance, if you say, I'm setting this goal, it has to meet a specific criteria. And if it doesn't meet that criteria, it doesn't qualify to be a goal. And there are three key points that I want to share today. One is that if it's not written down, it doesn't qualify as a goal, because that's a very important element of setting a goal. The second one is if it doesn't have a deadline, a deadline and a timeline, it doesn't qualify as a goal. And then the last one is a burning desire to make this thing happen. So the last one is very tricky in a sense, because you need to understand, what is this burning desire? What is this thing? What do we mean? You know? And it is that thing that pushes you just over the edge. You know, when you've made a decision that you're buying this car, whether it's raining or there's lightning, you'll be knocking at those doors, begging and saying, please, I want to take this car now, you know? So that's the burning desire that you want to have when you make that goal. So I would like us to apply this principle when we're thinking about investing, that it's something that has to be intentional, it has to be in our mind, and we need to push for it to happen. So I just wanted to share those words, Derek. Thank you so much, man, for organizing this. Thanks.
Yeah, that was brilliant, Saki. You nailed it. Quickly before Derek jumps back in, you see what you just highlighted, that mindset, including the power of that burning desire. What you just did is show the left hand or the right hand. Here is the other hand, because you need both hands for this thing to work. Everything you just said, 100%. Do you know what will stop it from happening? It's this one thing, which is the other hand, mind skill. With all the passion, with all the desire, with all the positivity, and all the goal setting you can have, this one thing, mind skill, will be the difference maker, because the mind skill is where then you transfer all of what you just said, my brother, into a structure and a format and a way of thinking about those things and a way of actioning those that will bring the fruits of that tree. Everything you said, most people have it and they still fail because they don't have this mind skill. In other words, now that I know this, how do I think about it? Now that I have this, how do I go about it? What should I do next? How do I map this out? How do I ensure this burning desire has something at the end of it? And then it also involves how you create a track record of yourself that you can always go back to. Because remember, as you work through these things and you do what you do, there will be outcomes, there will be experiences. Those things, they become what I call the breadcrumbs. You can later repackage into their own standalone income generating something. It could be books, it could be courses, it could be podcasts, it could be whatever. Do you see what I just did there? So I'm agreeing with you, Saki, 100%. And in terms of the space in your office, that light bulb moment you just had, I hope you're not going to crucify yourself in feeling, oh, I wasted. Turn that waste into profit. Think about, how can I turn this space into profit? Can I bring someone else into these premises and charge them rent? How else? This is just a thought, and I'm literally thinking on this on my feet as I just heard this. How else can you turn that into profit? It's good to recognize it for what it is, which you've done, and it's a powerful thing. But now mind skill kicks in. How do I turn this into an advantage? And I'll tell you, down the road, you will realize that actually, I'm glad it happened this way because now I discovered these three things and will keep growing. I'm with you, my brother. I wish you well. I hope you achieve all your dreams and I hope you impact the world the way you're doing. Thank you for starting. A lot of people who probably have more than what you have didn't even start, but you did. That courage must be celebrated. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you very much, BK. And thank you, Saki, for sharing and for expressing that the learning part. But most importantly, I think also the mindset that would say, what is the culture that we are cultivating? What is the culture? Because a lot of us, we grew under environment where we were not even taught how to handle money. We were not even, some of us, we first saw maybe a certain amount of money from our salary. That, wow, this is a lot of money. And from that, you'd find that we would even spend 2 years or the whole year saying, no, I just want to enjoy myself. And the reality is that you can't create happiness out of spending. You can't say, let me spend for me to be happy, let me enjoy, because saving starts from as early as you can, because the study has been done to say, look, if you start saving from the age of 21 from your salary, by the age of 40, you can be a millionaire from just saving, and if you start at 40, then that could be late, but not late if you still want to be committed, but at the age of when you start working, you can still become a millionaire from just saving, because there you're talking about compound interest. I think that is what Ramsey, I like how PK and how Ramsey calls it as the babies, babies get babies and babies, so that is a good narration, in terms of understanding exactly what's happening. So these babies, as they compound, if the compound would be that if you put 1,000 now, and then you earn the interest of maybe 10% of that, which could be 100 Rand, or in fact, for 1,000, it could be 10 Rand or whatever. The next month, it becomes 1,010 Rand. So 1,010 Rand now becomes 1,020 Rand, building to that effect. So that, I think, speaks also to what Ramsey was saying, to say, when you do the investment, look at the long term, not just a short term. Because in a long term, your interest would come more on a compound format than just an interest that would come. As we go, I saw Eri try to raise their hand, and I would like to give to Austin just to have his contribution. After Austin, I just want to provoke Tsuhang before I go to Z. Tsuhang, I'm going to provoke you. Either you can comment on how far things are now, the mindset, the change of mindset, and then I'll go to Z. And then, we'll just continue. Austin, over to you.
Thank you, Brother Nzavi. Good evening, everyone, on Biz Frank Talk. It's always a good time to be here. I think 2 weeks back, this was actually like an accidental blessing, So I'm busy with something. I submitted something. I come onto Twitter, and at that time I was following Brother Eri, and Brother Eri was a part of the Biz Frank Talk. So I said, and the topic as well was quite striking at the time. So I said, okay, I joined, and it's just the pool of wealth and the different views you guys have. I mean, BK, Brother Nzavi, Tsuhang, Ramsey, Z, just wow, man. So it's honestly always a very good time to be here, and I'm happy to ask some questions, share some inputs of which I think could be thought provoking. So I won't really directly answer how to save and invest as an entrepreneur, but I just had a thought process of which I think maybe can help guide those that may not know. I'm also in that process, but so far through what I've known in business and my experience, it's sort of an assistance indeed. So one, it honestly, so the whole thing of saving and investing, it depends what stage your business is at. And number two, what is important to you and the business at that stage. So we have the beginning phase, we have the developing stage, and we have the established phase, right? So beginning, and I'll speak for me. For me, beginning, what is investing or reinvesting? And what does that mean for the business? So if we're speaking about investing, I'm purely solving for growth. So I'm not really looking to sit on cash at this time. It's the beginning phase, and investing for me would mean the reason you were paid for your service or product, it's getting more of that. So so you are investing to get more of what you are selling, or you are investing to improve what you are selling, right? So again, it's the beginning phase. So what is important to me and the business at this time? Reinvesting, it's improving its growth, right? And investing can also not just be equipment or whatever it is. It can be in people. I'm investing to meet. I have a list of people that I would like to meet, and I'm investing my money in meeting these people. So Brother Nzavi or Brother BK or Vusi Tembekwayo or Black Coffee or whatnot. So you are investing to get the knowledge so that you can apply it in your business, right? So this is the beginning phase of your company or your business. Is you really don't look much. Well, for me, I didn't look as much into sitting on cash. It's just really I'm solving for growth at this time. I'm not at a space where I can comfortably save and invest. I think that's for developing, right? So uh, um, that's just my view on the beginning phase, right? As if you are thinking about how to save and invest, look at it as I've just birthed this thing, right? It's a baby, right? And he or she needs all of me at this time, right? So I can't really say, I would rather be poor, but he or she thrives, right? So at this time, everything that I am able to get or to make has to be for the growth of this baby, right? So that is how my scope in terms of saving and investing in the beginning phase is. So then we have the developing. So developing at this time, I think I'm there. I'm not sure, but with developing, you have a few clients. So you are familiar with money, you are familiar with sales, but it's also a weird phase because now, because you're making money, you're realizing that this money can give you some options. So whereas the beginning phase, maybe let's assume Austin and 100 Rand a month. That's the beginning phase. So there's not much I can do with 100 Rand, right? So now let's say, okay, I've pushed, I've just, worked and worked, and now I'm in a space where I can get 400 Rand. So that now that's 400 Rand. That's new money to me. Wow, wow. So at this time, I have options. I can either splurge, I can use it, for myself. I can still reinvest, or then I can now save. So now there's options. And with these options and money, you really have to, I think, be tap into your visionary self and know what you are really solving for, because it's very, very easy for you to go out the gate because now money is coming in and you feel that you've raised this baby, but now the stage or phase it's at, you somehow think you now also want to benefit. I get the part of paying yourself first. It's important, right? But remember, you are not all that. You are not there yet. You are still developing, right? So at this stage for me, but I think then let's first define what saving is, or are you typically what are you typically solving for if you are trying to save, right? So it's either you are saving because you are waiting for an opportunity, or it's for backing up, or it's for an emergency, or it's for purchasing power or control. So last week, actually, I posted a poll on LinkedIn, and I said, just a moment, I said something. I said, as the old saying goes, cash is king and still is. But why do you personally save money? Is it to wait for an opportunity? Is it for backup or emergency? Or is it for purchasing power and options? So as Ramsey said, you need to know why you are saving, right? So at this time, for me, why I would save, or why I would want my company or business to save, is to wait for an opportunity, because I'm needing a chance that's going to take me from developing to thriving, or developing to some sort of a level where I can think I'm on the beginning stages of building a sustainable business, right? So at this time, I'm talking, okay, there's someone who is, maybe good in sales or marketing, or someone who is a good in tech or IT. Let's invest in them, or let's invest in this equipment, or let's invest in. So it's sitting on cash at this point, but again, to invest. Why? I'm waiting for the opportunity. So hence I'm saving, right? So that's the whole thing of developing. Is money is coming in, you have options. So you can either splurge, you can either reinvest, or you can save money. And when you're looking at saving, it's either to wait for an opportunity, it's for backing up or for an emergency, or it's for purchasing power, right? But then we have established phase. So now established, I'm not there yet, but what I would like to believe at this point, it's more, wow. I mean, you can comfortably save and invest. This is now the time where, I can say, okay, guys, I'm sitting on cash. I can now afford to pay myself a decent salary, and money can still stay in, and I can still invest. So at this stage, you want that however you price or how you make your money, with what comes in, you are able to pay yourself a salary first or last. Two, money still stays in the account of the company. And three, there's some money that still stays that is, maybe going to be used for investments or whatnot. So if money comes in, look at it at that angle of, the three, I think if you can say three-way or three, yeah, where I have to pay myself. Some of the money has to stay in the account, and then some I'm going to invest. So now you are established, and established may not necessarily be like you are quite big or you're making millions or whatnot, but there's quite a decent amount of money that you are making at the stage. So this is now when you can splurge and go get yourself a nice cap or a shoe or a Ferrari or whatnot. But again, you are not expending the percentage that you need to pay yourself. You are making sure that the business can make so much money that, so okay, I think I must make an example so that I don't lose you guys. So let's say my company, I pay myself, so 20% of what I earn. So I pay myself 20% of what I make. Let's assume this is 50,000 Rand, right? What I'm saying is, if my company grows, or when it does grow and it reaches an established level, I should not increase the percentage number, because I feel that now I deserve the money. I should make sure that the company makes so much money that the 20% is a lot. So we have this thing where I'm making money, now I want to increase the percentage. No, my brother or sister, build the business so that the money it makes, the 20% or whichever rate you are paying yourself at, is more, not for you to increase the percentage, right? Because at the end of the day, you are solving for a bigger problem. If you really are a visionary and you're an entrepreneur and you're into business, you are not in a 5-year run or a 10-year run. You are into a 20-year run or a 30. So you must always think, okay, fine, if I'm earning this amount of money, what's the negative effect in the next 3 to 5 years? Because do I really need this kind of money? No. So why should I increase the 20% to 30? So let me rather build this business, let it make its money, and then eventually when I'm collaborating or partnering up or signing deals with whatnot, or whatever it is, then that money, I take 20% of that and I survive off that, right? So the whole thing of saving and investing, it is quite tough, and especially if there is no money to save, right? But again, as I said, and I really hope I made some sense, it depends what stage your business is at, what is important to you and the business at that stage. There's the beginning phase, there's the developing phase, and there's the established phase. Whichever phase you're at in business, know what you are solving for. And again, as Ramsey said, why are you saving? The why has to be so important, right? And investing, why are you investing? Well, you actually should, but ask yourself why, right? So yeah, man, I think I'll pack it there for now. I do have some questions, but maybe just allow what I've said to maybe process. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Austin. Thank you very much. And please, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to wrap up at 10 o'clock. And I'll tell you why. Because I know that BK keeps on promising that, no, guys, I'll be back, and he has never come back. But also, I think if we can keep it to 2 hours, that would at least assist us because, I don't want the situation where BK feels, it's continuing and I'm not there. But also, I think 2 hours, it's more reasonable time, ladies and gentlemen, because, some of you are going to work, and I would prefer that at least let's try to stick to time. Let's say 2 hours, and that's it. And also, I think you'll have noticed that today, what we did is by 10 past 8, we're already on the topic. Unlike other days where you'd find that by 8:30, we are still, trying to introduce and all that. So I think let's appreciate that time is very important and stick to that time. So by 10 o'clock, BK, also, I just want to allow that we are able to also join your sessions. Because it's very important that we support you also in your sessions. We become part of that because we are a family. So whatever you do, you need our support and you need our presence, and so that we understand, but also for us to show that, we are the one team, we are together. So based on that, I realized that the best way is to allow ourselves to say by 10 o'clock, we know that we are done. So I will allow Ramsey. I saw you raised your hand, but before I give to you, Ramsey, I just want to say something that when it comes to the issue of savings, there is this thing of thinking, sometimes maybe tell yourself that the money that you have already saved is not yours anymore until such time that the time that you said you want to have it, that's when it will become yours. Reason being that it's easy. I think Ramsey said this to say it's easy to want to withdraw the money to use it for something else. And it's easy to think you've got money to start a business or to buy something or to invest into opportunity that came, even to worse extent, to invest in a pyramid scheme. Because you think, the money is there, it's sitting there, so it's going to grow, it's going to triple. You go and withdraw your money, and then you put it there, and then you lose all your money. So we need to just be careful around that. But I like what BK said to say, we are not financial advisors certified. Please consult with your financial advisors for you to be able to get that. Tsogang, what I'll do, say, is that I just would allow all of you to now have the parting shot, because now it's 21:44. Then I think you will come and say, but if you have a question also, I think that question will be attended to. Or maybe let me give it let me give it to Ramsey. And then Ramsey, I think you will comment, but also let it be preparing to wrap up so that I can give all the speakers. And then if there are any other questions we can deal with before we close. Over to you, Ramsey. Then I'll hand over to you, Tsogang.
Thank you, Mr. Nzavi. I actually noticed there is someone called N Makwela. They actually have much profound questions that they always ask, but I think we always answer them at the very end. And I would kindly ask that moving forward, Makwela, your questions are very good. Please feel comfortable to ask. Raise your hand so that you get answers or responses live. So, thank you, Austin. You actually just reminded me that you sent me a DM and I had said I would respond to you. I will definitely do so. Thank you so much for your input. And gauging from what Austin has been saying, he raised valid points. And I also feel I would just like to add there, Mr. Derek, on the next topics, I would like to also suggest the topic on budgeting. Why I say that, I think it's because we get it a bit mixed up or confusing when we're using the term BK out. I stand to be corrected, but when we're using the term paying yourself first, it does not basically mean we are saying you are giving yourself this money to go and splurge. Paying yourself basically means this is you paying your higher investment or money that's going to save you in the future or build you a legacy of financial wealth. That's money that you will never really touch, but it will take care of your legacy, get you properties, get you bigger purchases. And then this is why, Mr. Nzavi, I bring up budgeting, because now, not looking at business, but let's say we're looking at a person individually. You're getting paid 20,000 Rand. 10% of that, which is, I think it's 2,000. Sorry, my maths can be a bit cracky, which is 2,000 Rands, is going straight to your investments. That's what we call paying yourself first. But you do not want to work every month and not at least buy yourself a t-shirt or go with your friends for drinks, because you'll always feel that you're working for nothing, which is why part of the budget you set aside your entertainment money. That's why I would think maybe we're saying that that's your splurging money. That means maybe within the 2,000 you're allocating 500 Rand for every weekend. You can only spend 500 for yourself. That's part of budgeting. That's you now entertaining, I would say, your body, thanking yourself, thanking your habits, or your lifestyle. But when we say paying yourself first, we mean your investment, your wealth, your future wealth, money you will never touch, but it will create those babies, and those babies will make those babies. I guess that's my closing. Thank you.
Yeah, I think today what I'm walking away with is babies making babies and babies make babies, which for me, it's quite very interesting and very exciting. And
And
true
Derek,
MC,
sorry, before, I
yes.
think that those were my last words. But if there's okay, let me not say a student, but anyone that's not an entrepreneur and that's willing to start, and that is really starting out their saving on their investing journey, please reach out to me. I'm willing to buy one of these two books that I said I would recommend to them, because they also changed my life when it comes to saving or investing or understanding these. Please DM me if you are starting out your investment or saving journey. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Ramsey, and thank you very much for coming through tonight, and for also keeping the conversation going. And one thing I like about our speakers or panelists is that if there are topics that they feel they may not want to participate, and which again, it speaks to understanding your strength, but understanding that this speaking, and I really respect you for that, colleagues, and I really say bravo to that. And at least you see BK and Ramsey were able to outline, and I see McDuke. I don't know where he's coming from this late, my brother, but yeah, I have welcomed you to Grit, because we are wrapping up, McDuke, and you'll just have a closing remark also. But let me hand over to Tsuchang, after Tsuchang Z, and then after Z, McDuke. After McDuke, BK, you will close for us. Eri, I tried to receive you, my brother, but it keeps on kicking you out. And unfortunately, I'm hoping that we'll get sorted. Tsuchang, take it over, my brother. Mr. Tsuchang, we can't hear you, but I can see that you're speaking. Okay, while Mr. Tsuchang is sorting himself, and anytime he will come in, it's fine. Z?
Hi, Derek. Are you able to hear me? Okay.
Kamatuma, Kakulu.
Well,
Yes.
thank you, because I've just been in and out of the space because of the whole network connectivity issue. But well, as always, thank you for such very interesting topics that you tackle every week on these spaces. But I don't really have much to say, but I do relate to some of the things that have been brought up on this conversation. But before I get to the one thing that I really learned by experience, I just want to say, I heard you say, Uguti, you can actually get to saving 1 million. Well, of course, I'm paraphrasing at this point in time, by saving. And I wanted to jump in and say, Derek, be careful with that one, because I've heard quite a few times being said, Uguti, it's very much impossible for you to get to that just or to get to 1 million just by saving. To quote quite a, one of the few things that, that are usually quoted as one of the things that actually get to or help you get to making those millions is by investing in, things like real estate. So because of time, obviously we're not going to be able to get into that, but I really wanted to, if possible, to hear you quite expand, on that. Uguti, is it really, really possible to get to saving that much just by saving alone? Ukusave bank as per usual, and the normal way that people tend to save money. Um, but yeah, and you also said Ugutu BK has a tendency of going off, dropping out the space to say he's going to come back, but he never comes back. Mr. BK, let me come to your rescue in this one. Actually, I think Mr. BK does come back. It just so happens that when he comes back, the space is already ended. And so yeah, thank you again, Derek, for this space. It was really, really good engagement. I've learned quite a lot. Or there's a lot to actually take home and think about. But the one thing that I said I wanted to share that I have learned through experience and making the money mistakes that I have made, since I started working years back, was I think the one thing that's very important for me is self-discipline. Self-discipline is a very important factor. Just quickly, there was a time where I had saved, and I think I shared this story one time. I was saving for a trip to Cape Town, to be specific. And at that time, this was a couple of years back. And, so I had a goal. I wanted to go to Cape Town. I wanted to take a solo trip to Cape Town. So you see, I had a goal and I was saving towards that goal until one day I was bored and it was a weekend and I found myself in Sandton at the time. And, you can pretty much guess what happened. And, in conclusion, I didn't end up going to Cape Town. Okay. And so this is a lived experience. And I tell you right now, one of the very, very most important things when it comes to money, saving, investment, all these things, is for me, the number one thing is self-discipline. I know this and I know this for sure. But anyway, thank you to everybody that, thank you to the answers to my question when the space started. And thank you so much, everybody. I will see you guys next week.
Thank you, Z. I think now we have two topics. The next one is how to make $1 million. The first one is the one that Ramsey suggested. So we just want to, we'll build up to that. And thank you very much for wrapping it up nicely. And thank you very much, Z, because I like your thought pattern, because always you interrogate and you get to kind of challenge and say, why would you say this? Why would you put it this way? So that there is a clarity. I remember at one point, at one space, you asked me, why do you ask a question whether business is a she or a he? And that for me was more, to say, yeah, this is the inquisitive mind.
Answered it though. But you still haven't
I'm
answered it. It
coming
was
back on
left hanging.
that.
It was left
I'm
hanging.
coming back on that one. Okay. Because of time, let me allow BK to have a parting remarks so that when Tsuhang and Mekduk come in, even if we overlapped by maybe 3 minutes, but I would love that, ladies and gentlemen, by 10 o'clock exactly, we should be done. Please. BK, over to you.
Thank you, my brothers and sisters. It's good to see you here, and I love these topics. And I'm trying these days to be more careful about the spaces I participate in and I engage in, because I'm trying really to separate ourselves from all the other noise and all the other stuff. I'm not saying people shouldn't have fun. Absolutely, you can have fun and join whatever space you want. But I'm personally, I want to prioritize these sort of spaces because I really want you guys to absolutely live the best life you can. If I can help it at all, this is me trying to give you something that I think really is possible for you. I've seen it. I've done things that people used to look at me and think, are you sure about this? Or are you crazy? No, this is not going to happen. And I'm telling you, honestly, it's humbling to look back at where we all started and where we've come and how far we've come. I think it will be evil of me to withhold all of this information and keep it from you. I live here in Europe, and I'll tell you, I walk into rooms that probably some people will never even enter. That's a humbling thing. But I enter these rooms not to look around and just see, it's not a museum. I'm sitting across the table with people who have the capacity to make a decision on $1 billion budget, but they listen to what I have to say before they make that decision. What does that tell you? If they find me valuable enough to do this, I think the least I can do is turn around and look at my brothers and say, hey, we can do this. We've got this. All I really ask from you all here is that please don't just attend these spaces. Take the information, interrogate it, stress test it, really pull it left, right, and center, and really use it. This is the only time that knowledge becomes powerful, when you use it. If you don't use it, it's just potential energy. It's stored energy. It's sitting there. It will never be anything. Just like your dreams, until you take action, they're just wishes. They're not going to go anywhere. So use the information from these spaces, and they're recorded, so you can always go back, take notes. And by the way, participate, ask the question, challenge some things you hear. Don't just take our word for it. I prefer to be surrounded by people with the fortitude of mind to prove all things and only keep what's good for them. This is how the Bereans of old lived. They questioned everything. They were not cynical, but they were very skeptical. Big difference. So use this information. Let me leave you with this. When we say come here and share your business, can I indulge you in something? Whenever you share your business, whether it's here or on the street or in the bus or on the train, answer these 3 questions. Why are you in business? Why should anyone care? Who are you selling it to? In other words, who is already in? If you answer these 3 questions in the presentation of your business, even if I have zero interest in your business, at least I walk away with some idea of why I should even consider this. Do you know why this is important? When I'm in Germany, I can walk into a room, and during the break of any presentation, I can stand next to someone and we're pouring each other coffee and we're getting to know each other, and they'll say something. And the moment they do that, that's the moment I can say, I know Zohang can do this. Then I ring Zohang and say, hey, Zohang, I have a customer for you here in Germany. But for me to do that, I need to know what you do, why you do it, and why should anyone care? And on top of that, I need to trust that you will deliver on it. And not just deliver on it, you have the capacity to deliver exceptional quality. You are different. So my word to you is, from tonight, dare to be different, dare to take action, be bold. In fact, be audacious. You can do this. If I can do it, you can do it too. I lost €250,000 way back. €250,000. What would you do with it right now if I gave it to you? I lost it like this. But guess what happened on the other side? You are listening to it right now. Now, hundreds of millions of dollars worth of product across 45 countries. What is 250,000? Do you see what I just did there? Now I'm giving you the information that will save you from losing anything close to that. Come to these spaces, take the knowledge, use it, then grow your thing and walk with your chest up. But remember to impact your local community and help others. My name is Brian. I appreciate you. I see me in you. Keep doing this. Mark Duke, I want to hear what you have to say.
Thank you, BK. Thank you very much. And BK, we really appreciate you, and thank you very much for coming through always. And yeah, and we please share that link to on the timeline so that we can join after this. And yeah, McDuke, BK wants to hear you before it closes, and I think he would want to also hear Tsukhang. So yeah, just take it through, my brother, and then briefly, then we can hand over to Tsukhang and we can close. McDuke, over to you. Tsukhang, over to you, my brother. Any one of the two? Yeah.
Can you hear me, Mr. Nzavi?
Yes, we can hear you, and then McDuke will come after you. Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. I usually talk from experience. So the problem with talking from experience about money in a house where everyone is there, if you say something that you don't do, they'll look at you. And if you say you've invested, they'll know that there's money. So you better just keep quiet and listen. You know what I'm saying? But in general, I want to tell you that each and every business book that I have read where they said save a portion of your money, I've always done that. And I reached a level where I've even forgotten about that portion that I've said there. But I'm reminded every month when it comes into my savings account. What it has taught me is high levels of discipline, that I must forget the capital completely as money that belongs to me and only look at the babies, like Ramsey is saying. I've done that after reading the book, The Psychology of Money, because I'm not a person who reads things and never apply them. So just a few things. I want to quote Mr. Eri, since he didn't get an opportunity to speak. He once said that only a fool spends all the money that he earns. And I didn't like that, you see, because then every time I get money and I don't put 20% of it aside, I remember him saying only a fool spends all the money that he earns. So I've also learned from some of my friends that there's people, when they say they are broke, they don't mean they are 0 broke in the bank account. There's some millions sitting there doing nothing. Those are the millions that they've fixed and put aside that earns them interest. So when the man says he's broke, he probably means he's finished his interest, which is more than a salary of some people, and he says he's broke, but that money is coming again at the end. He has a problem of getting money every month without doing anything. And I think that this is where we are going as business people, because I don't know anyone who goes into business to work for the rest of their lives. And I will repeat what Mr. Eri said, that you are a fool if you spend all the money that you earn, because then what are you working for? I can't be driving up and down working for the rest of my life. 20% of my income, 30% of my income, whatever that you decide it is, you need to be strict on it. And let me tell you what it does for you. It teaches you self-discipline, because you must challenge yourself to see how self-disciplined you are. I challenged myself once to say that I'm going to take 5 years without eating meat, and I did it. And I know that I'm very strong in that department, and I wanted to challenge myself in terms of money. And I did it because I took a hell of a huge lump sum that Mr. Eri was not happy about because he was advising that I buy property. But I've even forgotten about it because I was like, you put that there, you forget about it, and you just look at the interest that it gives you on a monthly basis. Yeah, I think I'll just leave it there. It was a great space. I've learned a lot. A lot of things that has been said are things that I'm doing. Kudos to me. Thank you very much. I don't think entrepreneurs read books for the fun of it. I think that for every book that you read, you take something and you apply it, especially if it's books on self-discipline. So there's no doubt that if you are in the space, something in your financials is going to change. As of today, you're going to be a different person. And believe you me, the more you put that money aside, the more you find that you don't desire useless things, that you don't really just buy things that you don't need, you know. And in any case, you won't be able to buy them if you fixed that money that you are earning in that way. So I'll leave it there. It was great being here, and I send love to everyone all the way from here in Pretoria, South Africa.
Thank you, Tsugang, and I knew that would have some good parting shots. So thank you very much. Mektuk, please wrap it up, my brother, so that I can close before BK leaves.
Okay.
Thank you. Over to you.
Check 1, 2. 1 million rand, 2 million rand. Am I audible?
1 billion, sir. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Let me first apologize for coming late. As a matter of fact, let me give myself a whip so that you guys can forgive me. Yes, I apologize for coming late. And maybe let's talk about money a bit. That we need to stop being diplomatic about money. Because first of all, money is not our friend and money is not our age mate. Money has been there long before we have been there. An African proverb says that you can walk faster, but the elder knows the road. You can have all these wonderful ideas as young people, but money will give us access. And if we know how to make money, if we know how to save money, if we know how to invest money, it'll give us more access. I think the topic speaks for itself, how to save and invest money. Because number one, money speaks one language. Save me today and I will save me tomorrow. But we don't save money for the sake of just saving money because money loses value. In my trip to Kenya last year, December, I came back with 850 Kenyan shillings, of which is approximately 100 rand. And they've been sitting there for like a good 3 months. And I can tell you that they have lost their value. So if you just save money for the sake of saving money, you are going to lose it. Just like Jesus said in the Bible. If you're trying to save your life, you will lose it. Similar with money. If you're trying to save money, you will lose it. But we need to save money strategically. What are you saving money for? Are you just saving money in the bank, or are you starting a business? Are you funding your dream? Are you funding your passion? Another thing is that as I close, money speaks one language. If you invest in me today, I will invest in you tomorrow. And investing doesn't have to be such a complicated topic. Actually, saving and investing money doesn't have to be so much complicated. Now, here's how we can break it down in 3 simple points. And this is a philosophy that I actually learned from Jim Rohn. He said that 70, 10, 10, 10 financial principle. The 70% is the money that belongs to you and is going, most of the money is going to go to expenses. The 10% is the money that is going to go to your tithing. Tithing could be a church, could be a worthy project. And the other 10% is the money that you can save. Remember, save money and money will save you. And the last 10% is money that you can invest. So the financial principle is if you have 100% of the money in your pocket, 70% expenses goes to expenses, and you're also going to service yourself. 10% goes to investment, 20% goes to savings, and 10% goes to tithing. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for giving me the platform to speak. Lastly, here's my favorite quote. It is actually written by me. I say that if you don't if you don't save your money won't save you. If you don't respect your money won't respect you. And financial illiteracy is the root of all empty wallets. Thank you so much.
BK, I think you were waiting for this, and yeah, thank you very much, Miktuk, and thank you very much for at least sharing what you had.
Now you see why I love these guys. I love Maktuk, and by the way, the one thing he didn't tell you, he's got a new hot podcast where he interviews healthcare professionals in their own space, and he gets them to talk about things that most people may never be privy to. Really, really impactful stuff, and the quality is super, super, super good. He sets himself apart, and probably a lot of people will think, but what's the point of this? You'll never understand it until you actually catch it and you listen to it. It's a really, really cool. It's live. It's on video. You can see it. I think he's on to something. I'm saying this because I'm trying to show you what happens when you lead with courage and really reach for things that sometimes are audacious. I don't know McDuke. I've never met him in person. I've never shaken his hand, but we know each other. He had the courage to ask and got access. And the first meeting we ever had, he took that information. He asked a simple question, and that question led to more questions and answers. Today, he's thriving. He didn't have to take everything I said. That's the power of questions. He simply asked the question. And out of that discussion, he understood and had the fortitude of mind to take what works for him and apply it. I'm just talking about Maktuk because he's right here. But there are many others I've done this for. Yuli's Cakes is another one. And it didn't cost them a penny except their money for their data. If I had charged them what I charge for my services, they were never going to afford it at the time. But that's not the point. I am not doing this for money, but I'm doing this because I want every black brother and sister to be on top of his game and do away with this stereotype that we are useless, we're stupid, we're of no use, we can't look after ourselves. Let's turn this thing on its head. Let's really step up and produce quality things and become quality people and create our own economy. After all, we have the biggest spending capacity, believe it or not. Every white person everywhere is setting up their businesses with the black purse in mind because they know we will buy their stuff. Imagine if we bought from each other. Imagine if we supported each other. And supporting each other doesn't mean I now have to join your business. I simply have to know enough about you and your quality and your business to mention it somewhere else, or retweet that business post you posted, or talk about you somewhere where it will matter. Can we do this for each other? And of course, if I see that you have something that it aligns with the path that I'm on, I will more than happily take part in it. Tokang always says something powerful. He says something that I have lived my whole life. Before I buy something, who looks like me that sells this stuff? Who looks like me that has this information? If you are talking about contracts, let me finish with this. Who do I know that can help me with contracts? Who do I know who looks like me that can help me solve that oath keeping part of my business? Do you see what just happened there? All of you, if you support each other, I guarantee you in the next 10 years, you will be living the lives of your dreams. Let's live fully. Thank you for tonight. I appreciate you. But Derek, let me tell you something. Tonight, we moved the meeting a little bit because there's something going on in our head office, But listen, your idea is absolutely special, and I appreciate you, my brother, for doing that. Every Tuesday and Thursday at exactly this time, our business, one of our businesses, the nutritional business, we run these meetings that we do. On Tuesdays, we talk about the products, we talk about the science behind them, we talk about what they are useful for. We do this simply because we're inundated with questions. What is this? What is that? And then we thought, okay, you know what? Instead of answering one by one, let's create a live session where people can come in, take notes, ask questions. We're not going to sell you anything. So you can come in, take the information. If we never see you again, no hard feelings, because it's information that is useful. And then on Thursdays, we talk about the opportunity that we have for those that are thinking about getting into business. If they want to partner with us, they're literally buying a business in a box that is already in 45 countries. They don't have to get involved in all the other stuff. We already take care of that. All you do is plug in and share the information and share the products, and we will do this, and we will help you create a six-figure income out of that. It's not for everybody, and I'm not here trying to get you to join my business, but I'm simply telling you what we're doing in just one of our businesses. This business is inching closer to $1 billion business. Did you hear what I just said? $1 million business. All we did was partner with them. Sometimes you don't have to recreate the wheel. What can we do together? Do you see what I'm saying? So thank you for tonight. Derek, thank you for your thoughtfulness. Certainly next week, let's do this. I appreciate you guys. If I can help anyone, reach out. If I can do it, I'll do it. If I can't, I hope you will have the capacity to accept that I can't, because can we imagine my calendar? All my coaching sessions for 2024 are fully booked. Unless there's a cancellation, I can't fit you in. That's not me trying to be difficult. I'm simply trying to be honest with you, because I don't want you to think you can just access me like that. But I will do my every best to be here for this space and be here for you, because you are my family. You look like me. I want you to win. I want you to win. Whatever you are doing, I want you to win. Even if you don't join my business, I want you to win where you are. Because can we imagine if we meet in a shopping mall and we're all successful? What does that look like? I'd rather have that than meet in a shopping mall and I'm the only one in a nice car. And now I'm living in fear because I think I'm going to get marked. I wouldn't want that. I want us all to show up somewhere and really empower the next layer of our brothers and sisters and create a new life for everybody. We can do this. Thank you, my brothers. Thank you, my sisters. I appreciate you. And I genuinely love you.
Thank you very much, BK, and thank you very much. I think we're gonna meet at the business launch one time, when we connect the flights. So yeah, thank you very much, and thanks to everybody. Thank you for listening, and thank you for tuning in. And please come prepared next week with your questions, but also come prepared with your advertisement. And also, please, if you need free mentorship or advisory, and thank you, BK, that there are those that are reaching out to you. And Ramsey, I think you did note that there are those who are reaching out to you. And yeah, also on my side, we do have that. And I believe that Zuhang, the same, Mektuk, I believe that the same. And Zuhang, please expect me to partner with you, because BK said I don't have to start a broiler from the scratch. I think you did lecture during the week about the broiler and the free range and all that. That was beautiful. And yeah, you're doing a great work. And also Ramsey, it will be difficult for me because I need to have a license for that. So I will just go with the soft ones. I think much. And yeah, inkomo. Bye bye.